If you're 35 and below, you got to think about increasing your active income.
Hey, Jeziel here for another episode of 98.5's Table Talk, where we give short answers to tall topics. And joining me today, we have the pleasure of having, it is Elson Go from EG Financial Services. Elson, always a pleasure having you in the studio.
It's good to be back.
Now, what are you bringing to the table today?
I want to talk about what is the most important thing in finance. So when something gets into that level of prominence or that importance, we always give it a label. We call it a king.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
So, for example, if I say king of pop, you would say...
Is it Michael Jackson?
Yes, and
Okay,
then, king of the jungle.
Is that the gorilla? The jungle?
I think it's probably the lion.
Oh,
Wouldn't
wouldn't that be like that's the African...
Well,
Anyway.
Okay, contentious. Okay, say king of science.
It's King of Science. There could be a few.
Well, apparently physics is the king of science. Apparently.
Okay, right.
King of fruits.
This is
this is a hard one,
subjective.
this is a hard
I love watermelon.
No,
What's the king of fruits?
I don't think watermelon's the king. Durian.
Oh, really?
I love durians.
Okay.
So durian is the
Okay,
king.
I'm
So-
doing very bad.
Okay, so you don't know who the kings are.
No, clearly
I
not.
suppose. Well, you just need to know one king of kings.
Yes, that's
Apart
exactly
from that,
right.
and everything else, that's okay. We can swap them around.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so when it comes to finance,
Yeah.
who do you think is the king?
Straight away, my mind goes to Warren Buffett because
Okay.
every
Warren
book,
Buffett.
everything is like, he's done amazing. So if it's a person, are we talking about a person?
No, it's probably like a thing or concept.
Right. Ooh.
Okay, so it's not a person. Really.
Okay,
It's-
right.
Yeah.
Like would you say so? Savings?
Okay. So, it's I've asked this question to uni students every year,
Okay.
and no student could get it. Third year
Okay, that's-
students, no one could get it.
This is good. I feel better.
It is hard, and I think it is hard simply because in media we have been constantly being pushed with, and we see it in films as well, different concepts. So I think the most common one would be cash. Cash is king, right? You always hear
Yes,
that
yeah.
phrase, cash is king. But cash, in fact, is not king, and it's a bad word in finance.
Right.
Yeah, it creates what we call the technical term a free cash flow problem. So I'll give an example.
Please.
If you are a CEO of a big giant mining company and you're about to fly to Dubai,
Yeah.
okay, would you ask your assistant to book what type of flight tickets?
Well, I'd go business.
Business? You're not aiming high enough. You should say first class, right?
All right.
Okay.
Private jet.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes. That's what a lot of people have done. You push it even further.
Yeah.
Now, nobody. I've asked this question before to all people on the street, students, some of my clients. None of them would say budget. They will never say, Elson, I'm just going to fly budget because, I want to help the shareholders and I want to save some money. No one does that.
No.
And that's the problem. If you have got cash, there's a very high tendency to spend it. So in finance, we don't really like cash.
Right. Okay.
Because cash, it produces that problem. You would spend it and you will not use it wisely.
So where would cash sit on the hierarchy then? If we're looking for a
yeah,
king,
is
cash quite low?
Well, maybe cash can be, I don't know, maybe like the prince or the,
Okay, right.
the princess, maybe slightly lower, And a few years ago, I always say young people shouldn't have cash because they would. But then we have got buy now, pay later, and we've got credit. So if they don't have cash, I suppose they would just load up their credit cards.
and surely that's way worse.
That's way worse. Okay, so I probably can't give the example anymore, but you know what I mean by people having cash. Sometimes it causes things to go wrong. I think retirees, we always say retirees should save up and hoard cash.
Yeah.
We've heard that.
I've taught that from young age.
But the problem is a lot of them actually don't get to spend what they have saved. And in fact, the Productivity Commission has done a recent survey, and they have found that over the next 20 years, about $3.5 trillion is going to be transferred in terms of intergenerational wealth transfer.
Right. Okay.
And then that's because people are not spending their money. They are afraid, so they are hoarding up cash.
Right.
So I think cash is definitely not king.
Yeah,
In fact,
okay.
you shouldn't pay. You should pay some attention,
Okay.
but
Little
but
bit.
not too much.
So, what would be the other contenders for the king spot then?
Okay. And the other one is often people would say, well, assets, right? Property or shares.
Yeah.
Property should be king, right?
The way you're saying it makes me think it's not.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that you can live in a mansion, but you may not be able to put food on the table
Yeah.
because your family home doesn't produce any income. You can't derive anything out of it except live in it.
True.
So property is not the king.
Okay.
Shares are definitely not the king. The rise and fall of your kingdom can literally be in a day.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so and there's nothing you can do. Like for example, the latest Optus breach.
Yeah.
We've had this massive hit, something that you cannot really predict. Okay, so assets are really not king.
Okay. So it's not cash.
Yep.
It's not assets. It's not shares.
So we're gonna come to the big review. Can I say we'll come back after the break?
Don't worry. There's no ads. There's no ads.
That's okay. Okay, so here is the king in terms of finance, right?
Okay.
Okay, drum roll. It is cash. It is cash flow.
Cash flow. Okay.
Cash flow is king. I get all my students to stand up and do like a jingle, like cash flow is king.
Cash flow is king.
Yeah,
Cash.
just to unwind all the brainwashing that they've had over the years, Now, cash flow is king. Cash flow is the thing that banks would look at when they lend you money.
Yes.
Cash flow is what analysts would look at when they are valuing a business. They will see how much this company is going to be making in terms of money
Yeah.
over the next few years, discounted back to today's dollar, and that's what the value of the business. So cash flow is really the central theme in terms of finance. All that we do, as a company, as a household, as a business, we'll be thinking about how can I increase cash flow.
Yeah. Indeed. Okay. So if cash flow is king, and you've explained why it is.
Yeah.
I guess a lot of people will be thinking, all right, well, I tried the assets, I tried saving, I tried all these other options. How do I increase my cash flow is the big question.
Okay, so and rightly so. A lot of people will say, "Well, but I know cash flow. I respect cash flow.
Yeah.
I want more cash flow, right?" But let's take a look at some actions that people have been doing all this while that is counter to that particular notion. So I'll give an example. Cool. This car is a great investment, or this electric car is a great investment.
I'll say fuel in the long run.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the car doesn't produce cash flow. Unless you are unless you're a driver and then you use your vehicle for work. Apart from that, really, it's a lifestyle asset.
Right. Okay.
In fact, cars cost money to maintain, and it depreciates.
Right.
So sometimes I coined it the depreciating liability.
Right.
It's
a scary term.
Yeah. It depreciates and it costs money to upkeep and run. So and I'll give another one. My family home is my retirement. Again, it doesn't produce income. Okay, here's a good one that is quite topical right now. Elson, I'm afraid of recession, so I'm gonna just buy some gold.
Yes. Yep. I have heard of a few people doing that.
Because, I think gold is a good safe haven, but gold doesn't produce income. And if you're looking at physical gold, which is heavy, you can keep it at home because the thief will not be able to carry it. They won't be able to carry it out. But you probably have to store it somewhere, and you probably got to pay the bank to store it. So there's a cost of storage.
Yeah. Okay.
So yes.
Could you argue the fact that it is cash flow because over time gold appreciates in value? Could you argue? I know it's not a lot, but could you argue that point?
Okay, so things that appreciate in value, there are many reasons why they go up. They could have gone up because of inflation,
right?
Or they could have gone up because of supply and demand. But it in itself, it is not king because it doesn't produce cash flow. So you must always look at what that particular asset does it produce cash flow, and if it doesn't produce cash flow, yeah, well, it's not king.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it can be, it can be a jester. It can be a magistrate. Nah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's not king.
Yeah. Right.
And you got to respect the king. Okay.
We need to. Yes.
Okay, yes. Here's one more. Crypto.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Cryptocurrency, surely crypto is the king, if not the queen, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Crypto, well, it's not a currency yet.
Mm.
But if you were to say it's a currency, okay, let's play along. Currencies don't produce income. Currencies are just an asset. They don't produce any. They don't give you rent. They don't give you dividend.
Mm.
So it's not king. Here's the last one, the most
Okay.
contentious one. Okay, Elson, one lottery ticket.
Oh no.
One lottery ticket. Surely that is king, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Come on, you heard that, right, Elson?
Yeah.
Just one, right?
Yeah. I just need one big break.
Just one.
The right numbers.
Correct. And that is still not king.
Mm.
And the lottery ticket, unless you win, doesn't produce anything. You'll get chucked in the bin, okay?
Minor. Yeah.
Yeah, you just missed by 3 numbers.
Yeah,
Or 4,
So
4 numbers.
close. Yeah.
Yeah, but we have got that notion, and often people make decisions based on that impulse. I think I can make money. Surely that's king, but that's not king in finance.
So my very last question, because I know that we could talk about this for a very long time.
Yes.
How do we respect the king?
Okay. Yes, we're not gonna come back after the break.
Okay, no, this is it. This is the final tip.
and so here's the tip that I want to give listeners. Now, if you are a young person, okay, I know, okay, who's young? when you're close to 50, you wanna say under 50 is young. Okay, but let's draw a line in the sand. Okay,
Yeah.
and let's say 35.
Okay.
If you're 35 and below, you got to think about increasing your active income.
Okay.
Okay, so that is, picture yourself in an ideal position or occupation, say in 10 years' time. Then what would be the necessary education and training required for that role? Start investing today.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that is the way that you increase your active income. And active income is income derived based on your own personal efforts. Okay, so that's for young person. That's what you need to focus on, right? Increasing your active income. I've seen so many people, right? They've reached the peak of their career, and then they go, "Oh, Elson, I just can't get that promotion because of my lack of education or training." You should have done that years ago. Okay?
Yeah,
So
right.
don't wait till that point where you are at the tipping edge of that promotion and you just missed out because of your education and training. Okay, so that's for young people.
That's for 35s and unders.
Okay.
Yep.
Now for those who are not so young, okay, everybody else,
Yep.
Except if you're retired, right?
Yep.
I think it'll be invest. There's nothing else that you do. Your primary objective is to increase your passive income. So not active anymore. So it'll be passive income. You
Okay.
want to have assets that will generate income for you. And if you have enough cash flow from those assets, then the byproduct of that is retirement. Because if you've got sufficient passive income from your assets, you don't have to work anymore.
Yeah.
So the byproduct of that particular action is retirement, right? So for anyone above 35, it might be too late for you to consider, heavy investing in education. Then really pump all your money into investments. Now, a no-brainer would be superannuation.
Right,
So if you don't want anything fancy, you just want to keep it as simple as it can be, then just put money into super. Increase your contributions into your super fund.
Right, that's it.
And if you want to get more fancy, you want to get a little bit more.
Oh, we do.
Then you can consider investing outside super, and you can consider property and shares.
Right, okay.
But the question that you always ask is still, does that particular investment produce income? Is it a profitable venture? If you want to buy a business, is the business making money? If you want to
What's the
buy a
cash flow?
particular company or a share, is the company making money? If you want to buy a property, right?
Yep.
You don't buy land.
It's doing nothing.
It's doing nothing.
Just pay land rates.
Correct. Well, they have a place in finance,
Yeah.
but it's not up there.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
very much lower. And if your focus is on the king, then I suppose everything else is going to be much more aligned, and a well-financed king often has got a lot of opportunities for this kingdom.
That's awesome. Focus on the king. If you're going to take away anything, focus on the king. Of course, yes, the king of kings, but the financial king as well. My guest, it is Elson Go from EG Financial Services. Thank you so much. And family, it doesn't stop here. There's so many more Table Talk episodes that you can go check out. So head to 985.com and don't forget to like and subscribe. Elson, thank you.